Have you ever felt the weight of something you never said, still speaking inside you? They're not screams, not full sentences, just fragments stuck between your chest and throat, echoes of a time that won't return. I'm sorry. Stay. Please listen. I love you. You never said them, and now they follow you like gentle but heavy shadows, invisible to others, but unmistakable in your silence. It all started the day you chose to stay quiet, not out of malice or fear, but because you didn't know if you'd be heard. Or maybe you were afraid of what would change if you spoke. And so the moment passed. Life moved on, but you didn't. Part of you stayed there, beside the unsaid words, the held-back gestures, the denied presence. You didn't just lose the words, you lost parts of yourself. The image is this: an old house with closed windows. From the outside, everything seems whole, but inside, the air is dense, filled with everything that never moved. That is your body. That is your soul, carrying the untouched furniture of a story you never dared to disturb. And for that never truly lived, time didn't take the pain. It only disguised it under habits, duties, distractions. But at night, or when the street quiets down, it returns, not as drama, but as the quiet memory that something was missing, and still is. Do you also carry unnamed regrets? The kind that don't scream but never leave? If this question found something you've kept hidden, write in the comments. I didn't say it either. Sometimes healing begins with just admitting it still weighs. Sometimes what hurts most isn't what was said, but what never had the courage to become sound. You remember that night. Maybe it was a dinner, a phone call, a final meeting. You wanted to speak. It was in your eyes, in your breathing, in the pauses between words. But you didn't. Out of pride, fear, uncertainty, or simply because you thought there would be another chance. There wasn't, and what remained was the space. A silence not empty, but too full. Full of aborted possibilities, of unspoken intentions, of words that lived only inside. Now every memory of that person is followed by a quiet question. What if I had said it? Your body remembers. In the tense shoulders, the long sighs, the stiffness of your movements, you carry this ghost conversation like a letter never delivered. Time doesn't tear it, doesn't erase it. It only yellows the corners of something you still try to forget. But forgetting is impossible when what you didn't say became part of who you are. You're not only made of what you spoke, but also what you silenced. And there's mourning in that. Mourning for a version of yourself that might have existed, if only you had dared to speak. If that absence lives in you too, write. The conversation is still here in the comments. Someone might see themselves in what you never said. Not all regrets are spoken. Some have shape, but never moved. It was a touch you didn't give, a hug that stopped halfway, a step forward that froze at the last second. You wanted to act, your whole body wanted to, but something pulled back. And in that instant, a silence was born, one that never left. Sometimes you still feel the weight in your arms. The absence of the gesture feels larger than the gesture would have been, because the body remembers when it held back, and it stores it. In the muscles, in the spine, in the skin. As if that frozen intention still waits for a moment to happen, even knowing it's already too late. The image is this: a flower wilting in the palm of the hand that never reached out. You held back the desire to love, to forgive, to ask. And in that holding, it lost its bloom. What remains now is the memory of what could have been beautiful, what could have been light, but turned to stone, not from cruelty but from fear. This unmade gesture still visits you in dreams, sometimes as longing, sometimes as discomfort when you see someone doing what you didn't. And the question returns like a soft tide: why didn't I go? But there's no ocean now, only the memory of water. If you too hold a gesture that never reached, write, I still feel the absence in the comments. A remembered gesture might awaken the present in someone else. Some burdens have no name, no shape, but we know exactly where they hurt. You feel it in your shoulders, in the dragging of your steps, in how long it takes you to lie down. There's something you carry, even if no one sees it. It's not grief, not a defined trauma. It's subtler, the sum of all the things you didn't say, didn't do, didn't live. A dense, invisible buildup, like emotional dust gathering in the corners of your soul. And this dust has a color, an old gray made of unresolved things. It has a scent, the last time you thought of calling and didn't. It has texture, the tightness of words that never reached your lips. And most cruelly, it has a sound, the echo of, maybe tomorrow, not now, I'll get to it. Resignation became routine. You moved on, but your body remembers. It recalls each hesitation like a stone left in your pocket. And now, you wear a coat full of invisible pockets, all weighing more than they should. The image is this, a suitcase forgotten in the middle of the room. No one knows what's inside, but you do. And you avoid opening it, because it holds every yes you didn't say, every go you swallowed, every I'm here you buried for fear of seeming fragile. But it's that suitcase that keeps you from dancing, from running, from breathing deeply. If this weight is yours too, write in the comments. The suitcase is still here. Sometimes, naming the weight is the first step toward leaving it. Maybe not all regrets need to be healed, but some only want to be heard. This morning, as you opened the window, you felt something pass through. It wasn't wind, it was memory. And it didn't come to punish. It came to ask for space. For a moment, you let it stay. Not as guilt, but as presence. The presence of everything that never happened, but still lives as unfinished gesture. You sat down. Silence. No answers. No conclusions. But there was space. Space between your ribs. Between one thought and the next. And in that gap, a breath was born. I can still say it. Not for those who left. Some doors may be closed. But for yourself. For the mirror. For your body, for your soul. Because sometimes the word needs to be spoken, not to change the past. You get up and walk into the room. You open that invisible suitcase with an inward gesture. It's not grand. There's no music, just a different gaze. Inside are the, I'm sorry, the, I wanted to, the, I missed you, still waiting. Yellowed, but alive. And you read them aloud. Just for you. And that is a beginning. You don't need to shout. Just breathe. Regret won't disappear, but it can become forgiveness. And forgiveness begins where courage meets the present, but to release the present. If this moment touched your forgotten breath, write in the comments, "Today, I opened the suitcase." Then, share this with someone who's been silent for too long. And if something in you still wants to be spoken, subscribe. Sometimes a single sentence can ease an entire life.